One of the lesser talked about situations on the Blue Jays is Matt Chapman and his expiring contract. The Jays acquired Chapman from the Oakland Athletics right before the 2022 season kicked off in exchange for a package of prospects which included Kevin Smith, Zach Logue, Kirby Snead, and first-round draft pick Gunnar Hoagland. Throughout the first couple months of the season, Chapman struggled with the bat before exploding in July, which saw his OPS top 800 for the first time in the season. He finished with 27 home runs, around a 750 OPS, and a very respectable O-WAR of 3.6 and D-WAR of 0.6, which is exactly what most were expecting out of the newly acquired man. But with the Jays exceeding luxury tax for the first time in franchise history, and no sign of their payroll going back down, would the Jays even be able to afford the premier third baseman? Moving on to our first topic of discussion, what will it take to extend Chapman? We all know he is one of the game's best defensive third basemen. There's no denying that. Chapman has helped the Blue Jays massively on the left side of the infield by giving cover to Bo Bichette. Now with the newly signed Chris Bassett, who allows a lot of ground balls to third base, it is more important than ever to retain the Platinum Glove caliber defender. When talking about extension talks, there are two primary areas of debate, one being his bat. Last season, we saw Chapman produce a very respectable stat line and produce some huge hits. He also had one of the lowest chase percentages in the entirety of the MLB. However, he struck out 170 times in 155 games and holds a lifetime 180 strikeouts per 162 games. Chapman's strikeout percentage and low average are something to keep in mind, especially since an extension would take him into his late 30s, and as we know, most athletes have already started to decline at that point in their careers. The other area of debate with Chapman is would the Jays even be able to afford to spend over $100 million on him? In the past couple seasons, we have seen Marcus Semien sign 7 years, $175 million at age 32, and Brandon Nimmo receive 8 years, $162 million at age 29. Chapman will be 31 at the end of the next season, and if he can bounce back to anything close to his 2018 and 19 self, then I do not see any reason the team would not give him a deal with 5 to 7 years and around $110+ million. Looking at the Blue Jays payroll for next season, they do lose Kevin Kiermaier, Brandon Belt, Anthony Bass, potentially Whit Merrifield, and the heavy contract of Hyun-Jin Ryu. But with the salaries of Bichette, Vlad Varsho, and others going to increase, it may be difficult to spend that much money when it could be used for other extensions to key players such as Vlad or Manoah. Moving on to our second topic of discussion, we have Orelvis Martinez and how he figures into the equation. An intriguing option for the Blue Jays is already within the organization. Orelvis Martinez is the Blue Jays' number 2 prospect and a power-hitting right-handed batter who is projected to play third or short. The only problem is, he will not be able to fully take over at third base in the 2024 season. Along with that, he has a few holes in his game, meaning how he progresses in the 2023 season will play a huge role in the decisions the Blue Jays will make. The past couple seasons, Martinez has shown his raw power, hitting 28 home runs in 2021 and 30 home runs in 2022. However, Martinez only obtains a hit grade of 45, which is alarming. When looking at the more advanced stats of Martinez, we see he had a 203 average, a 286 OBP, and a 446 slugging for a 732 OPS at AA New Hampshire. But at only 21, he still has time before he should be an everyday player in the MLB. Going forward, there are a few options the Blue Jays have. Extend Chapman and trade away Martinez, trade Chapman away and give the third base responsibility to a mix of Martinez, Espinal, and Biggio, or an interesting option is to move Bo to second, allow Martinez to play at short, and extend Chapman to play third. For this to happen, a lot of things would have to work out. Bo would have to agree to play second, Chapman would have to be locked up, and Martinez would have to massively improve on the defensive side and become a much more consistent batter. It would be crazy and highly unlikely, but I assume the Jays have already put some thought into this scenario. And finally, our last topic of discussion, which is will Matt Chapman be traded? Whether the Blue Jays will trade Chapman or not will be indicated by how well the team is doing by the deadline. If the Jays are 7 to 10 games below 500 and no clear path to the playoffs, then trading the third baseman could be the best option to ensure that the team will be able to get something for his service, rather than extending the qualifying offer and getting compensated in that way, which would not necessarily be the worst option. We were able to draft Nate Pearson by letting Encarnacion walk, but I would rather not leave it to chance like that. There we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and comment, or anything else that could help my channel reach more like-minded people. I want to build a baseball-loving community here, and even if you are not a fan of the Blue Jays, I hope you will stick around for the long run of this channel. I mean, hey, since you made it this far into the video, why not consider sticking around?